Slayer and King, prevail in your ancestors' woes, and carve a path of red ruin in the lost name of Drakebeard. Many monsters and Urks dare skulk in the shadow of Peak Pass. The Templehof vampires are such a threat. A grudge on all Zanganars. Do not let the undead fester in their nests. Further north, the Umgi of the Empire squabble with one another. All the while, Kislev prepares for the war of all wars, should evil seep from the frozen wastes. But an immediate threat resides within these craggy mountains. The Red Eye tribe, a vicious horde of greenskins, sack and pillage the halls of your mighty kin. And they now dare turn their beady eyes on you, my king. Push back this green tide, my lord, for you are the last Slayer King of Karak, Kadrin.
Hello, Monsters Abound here, and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2 Mortal Empires and a brand new Ungrim Ironfist campaign. Ungrim Ironfist is a Slayer King of Kadrin. So as the name implies, he is both a Slayer, who are angry naked dwarves with big hair, a bad attitude towards trolls and a death wish, and a king, who does normal royalty type things, you know, waving, opening hospitals, and in the case of Prince Philip, being wildly racist. Obviously, being wildly racist with a desire to end your life through fighting the biggest, baddest thing you can find might seem like a very hard act to balance, but actually it works out quite well, because if you go up to a giant and call him a lanky twat, he is bound to attempt to stamp in your head. That's a win. Slayers take the Slayer Oath when they do something terrible to atone for their misdemeanour. Considering how law-abiding dwarves are, the reason a dwarf takes up the Slayer Oath can be wildly different. Maybe they killed someone, either intentionally or accidentally, perhaps they broke an oath, or worse, became emotionally invested in Love Island. Whatever heinous or bemusing crime they've committed, they take the Slayer Oath, shave off their hair into a huge orange spike, and then go off to try to die. Try being the optimal word, because although this is suicide, they can't just find a troll and wait for it to punt them over the nearest mountain. They need to make the troll work for it. It wouldn't be a doom worthy of atoning for their sin otherwise. As such, Slayers are homicidal and dangerous warriors with nothing left to live for, a desire to murder anything that gets in their way, and a really bad attitude. Most Slayers only survive a couple of battles, and they're the lucky ones as far as the surviving Slayers are concerned. Ungrim took up the Slayer Oath due to his great-great-great-great-granddad, Baragor, who did something which no one can quite remember. The old coot probably forgot his wife's anniversary or something. That would certainly make me seek death, although I don't think I'd have to go looking for it. She'd find me. Despite being so long ago, Ungrim and his forefathers take their oath seriously, but because it's tied up with the Oath of Kingship, none of them have been able to expunge the great shame. Fortunately, I will definitely be able to get him killed. So all that to look forward to. So we're playing as Karak. We've got different... we've got the Forge. So this is a new mechanic that came in with the Norsca patch. So the dwarves have basically a magic item construction mechanic, a bit like the Tomb King. So that's really nice. We need to get Oath Gold to do that, and trade resources like the Tomb Kings. We have grudges as well, so we've got the big book of grudges. We will get missions that we need to complete. It's not like normal where we can just ignore the frickin' things. We need to complete these missions, otherwise the whole dwarf population get very antsy. And of course we have the Underway, like the greenskins and Skaven, so we can just hop around the mountains fairly easily. All good stuff. Let's have a quick look at what we get. So the faction bonus is Oathbound, so we have Frozen is a suitable climate for us. We have our upkeep reduction for Slayers, a recruitment cost reduction for Slayers, and all our infantry is a little bit faster. I mean, dwarves are quite slow anyway, but it's nice to have a little bit of a boost, so that's all pretty good. And then...
I am the Slayer King.
Indeed you are, Ungrim. Indeed you are. Let's have a quick look at Ungrim. So, Ungrim is the Slayer King, melee attack +6 for Slayer units in the Lord's army. And off you go, creepy old guy. Thank you very much. And then we have...
His will binds me to you.
Good. Garam Deanson there. He is ancestral blood Grimnir. So this brave Dawi can trace his lineage back to Grimnir, the warrior god. So he's good at punching things in the face. Fantastic. Now, he's a runesmith, so he's effectively our wizard. Unfortunately, dwarves don't have wizards because they don't really use magic. They're resistant to magic. They don't really know how to use it. They have managed to learn how to hammer it into into runes. So that's basically how dwarves use magic. So we do have some abilities here. Rune negation, so that's damage resistance. We've got the rune of wrath and ruin, so that's a damage ability, and you know, there's a few there, and that's quite nice. So he's basically going to be our mage, so we're going to pop him in our army. And we've got our first grudge, the Get Off My Chuffin Land grudge. Capture and occupy the following settlement, Gnashrak's Lair, and we'll get 30 oath gold and 1,000 monies for that. And then we've got the chapter objective issued, so we need the Reckoning Begins, occupy, loot or raise 3 different settlements. Karak and Gore has fallen into decline, assaulted by fell enemies above, like the greenskins, and below, such as the Skaven. But no more. Everpeak has stirred. The High King demands that the Dwarf realm be brought back to its former glory. Let the task begin in earnest. That's going to give us 2,000 gold if we can complete that. That is just a chapter objective. That's not actually a grudge. If we open up the Book of Grudge, we can see the Get Off My Chuffing Land grudge. So we got that one, and we can see that we're okay. Unless the grudges... And the longer a grudge exists, the worse it gets. So just, if we leave this grudge long enough, it will, you know, the dwarves will start grumbling. And you don't want them grumbling. They get very antsy when they're on. As you can see, that will increase upkeep for all dwarf units by 10%. So we definitely don't want that. Absolutely not. Yes. Now, I will say that this is not using Steel Faith Overhaul. I did say I would use Steel Faith Overhaul, and trust me, I tried. I really, really tried. But I could not find a way. I spent 2 days trying. 2 days trying to get an Ungrim campaign off the ground. And frankly, I couldn't. Well, no, that's not true. I could by effectively... What I did was I defeated this army, took Gnashrak's Lair, and then I sat there for 35 turns. Which... did work. I managed to get some infrastructure up. The problem is that you basically started, I think, with about 300, because Steel Faith Overhaul increases the upkeep of units. So we ended up with about, I think it was about 300 and maybe 400 income a turn to start off with. All the units were slightly more expensive, which meant I ended up with an army of about 9 units, I think. And very, very little income. We don't start off with much infrastructure. If we take a look at Kadrin, we can see we start off with a rank 2 settlement and the Slayer Shrine of Kadrin, which lets us recruit Slayers. So basically we have 1 more building slot to put something in. And you know, realistically, I mean, to be honest, I would say probably you want to knock that down, because Slayers aren't actually that useful to start off with. I mean, they're not bad, but... You kind of need quarrelers, realistically, and you can't really afford quarrelers without having... So anyway, basically, I really tried. I tried for 2 days. I only found one way of getting the campaign off the ground, and it was so boring, no one would want to fucking watch it. So I've made an executive decision that, frankly, Steel Faith Overhaul does not work for Ungrim. Unfortunately, the balance is just out for them. That's my opinion. Obviously, you might obviously feel different, but there we go. So I'm going to start building the sparring chamber, because the main problem I found was missile units. So if the greenskins have like 4 or 5 goblin archers, they can easily just riddle your starting quarreler unit full of arrows, and they will die. There's no way you can save them. So basically, you need to be... I mean, one-on-one, you will win a duel with a goblin archer unit, no problem. But 4 of them firing on 1 quarreler, they're dead. They're gone. So, need more quarrelers, basically, first job. Garim, you're going to join up with Ungrim. So you're going to go in there. Fantastic stuff. And obviously, first things first, we're going to deal with Urk Face Smasher. So we're going to go and smash Urk Face Smasher in the face. Try saying that 5 times fast. So, off we go. So it's actually not looking that much in our favour. They do have some Orc Biggins, which are quite they're quite a nasty unit for the Orcs to have. We don't really have much of an answer for them. Well, obviously we've got Giant Slayers, that'll probably do it. So here we go, first battle of the campaign. So we're going to start off by dealing with these Biggins, who are, in my opinion, probably the largest threat. So we are on a choke point battlefield. And we've got the Thunderers, unit of Dwarf Warriors, and Garim on the left flank, and facing off against a unit of Orc Biggins, who are, of course, you know, relatively heavily armoured and obviously have no shield. So the perfect option to shoot, basically. As you can see, they're already taking a lot of damage there. One's lost a head and he's bleeding out all over the floor. Very nice. And then over on the right causeway, we've got the giant slayers there. So they are slayers with big axes. Got some dwarf warriors holding the centre, some quarrelers behind them, and then slayers on the right flank. And there is Ungrim in amongst the dwarf warriors. Facing off against them are several units of Orc Boys, their Warlord, of course, Face Smasher, unit of Goblin Archers, and a unit of Orc Araboys. You can see over here, Garim is charging the Biggins all by himself. That's so he can provide a nice big beefy target for the Thunderers. He'll be able to tank that fairly easily, and the Orc Biggins are going to take a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Dwarf Warriors are now free to move in to assist the rest of the Dwarf army. So we've got the Orc War Boss charging the Giant Slayers. Dwarf Warriors moving in to assist. The Slayers are dealing with some Orc Boys all by themselves. And the Quarrelers are dueling with the Goblin Archers, although this Dwarf Warrior unit coming over from dealing with the Biggins is now catching their fire, but that's fine because they're heavily armoured and shielded, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for them to deal with. Ungrim and the Orc Warlord facing off against each other, covered in blood. The Orc War Boss is definitely coming off worse in this engagement. He's decided he's off. He's had enough. Meanwhile, Slayers are winning the engagement on the right flank, and we're just going to use the Giant Slayers to chase down the enemy units, because they're quite fast. They're faster than the Orcs, so they should be able to catch up and mince them. The Orc Warlord being chased by Ungrim. Oh, he's lost a lot of health. Come on, Ungrim, smack him. Down he goes. I think he lost his head. Yep, he lost his head. Okay, so enemy lord is dead, and the Giant Slayers are going to chase down as many Orcs as possible, rack up those kills.
Make every orc pay in kind.
I think it went pretty well for a first battle. I mean, yeah, our Slayers and Giant Slayers took a lot of damage, but on the other hand, Ungrim does have a special ability which increases their replenishment rate, and so you kind of expect they're going to take a lot of damage. They're quite sort of squishy units anyway, compared to, you know, your generic Dwarf Infantry anyway. Ungrim only got one kill, but it was the Orc War Boss, so I think we'll allow him that. And we will, I think I'll just execute the captives.
I'm not gonna die standing here.
Well, hopefully not anyway. So we've got Slayer Wards. That's excellent. So that's upkeep reduction for Slayer units. These beardlings who slight their masters or fail in their apprenticeships may take the Slayer Oath in shame. Well.
To die in battle.
And we've got two options here. So we've got Deathblow, and I kind of like going in this direction first. So we've got either Determined Deathblow, which activates if Ungrim falls below 50% health, which increases armor piercing and weapon damage by 20%, or Extremely Daring Deathblow, which only takes effect after his hit points are below 20% health, but increases his physical resistance by 30%, his armor piercing and weapon damage by 40%. And I kind of feel like this is an obvious one to take. Because the physical resistance, obviously, if he drops that low on health, he's in trouble. That's going to help him survive, which he probably doesn't want, but tough he's going to get anyway. So, Extremely Daring Deathblow. It's a crazy piece of acrobatics for sure, but it might just work. If it does, Ungrim's opponent has no chance, so we're going to go for that. And then we can go for... Then we can we get one of three options here, and then we go Doom Seekers, which is the 30% replenishment. He's also got a lot. I mean, he's got a lot of other skills here. So he's got vigor reduction for the entire army. He's got leadership for subterranean intercept and siege battles. He's got missile resistance, demon when fighting chaos and Norsca, bonus versus large, melee attack for Slayer units. That's all good. Oath of Fortune, that's Oath Gold. And then he's got 3 items we can pick up. We're definitely going to pick those up. And we can also pick... Is this at level 10? Yeah, so at rank 10, we can pick a different sort of god to venerate. I mean, casual replenishment rate is always very strong. But on the other hand, Grimnir here would increase melee attack, missile resistance for all units, and upkeep for Slayers, which kind of sounds about right for Ungrim, doesn't it? So we'll probably go for that one, with Ungrim at least. If you do have any good names for some of the units, let me know, or some of the heroes. If you want to rename Garim over here, Deanson, then let me know. I haven't decided what I'd like to... He reminds me of someone, and I can't figure out who it is. It's been annoying me for a couple of days now. I'll try and mull it out. He reminds me of someone. That little face, little nose, little whiskery... Yeah, there's something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so starting off, we're going to get a unit of Slayers. They only cost 151 to upkeep, so we could probably get... Oh, fuck it, we'll get 3. That's what we'll do. I mean, we can't build anything else anyway, so we may as well throw everything we've got. Replenishment is going to be quite slow, though. At least until we can get that Doomslayer trait. But we do have some tech. So we can get Dwarven Treasuries. Sort of mulling that over. Public order would be a good one to have. Nepotism is not a dirty word in Dwarf society. The guilds encourage it, for family honour is prized. Public order +1 all provinces. I'm thinking maybe that... What's this? Rat poison. Income from mind, untainted, causes fear when fighting against Skaven. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Some of these new as well? Maybe. I didn't play Dwarves very often, so I don't know what's new and what's not. I definitely want to get Flame Cannon, though. And some Iron Drakes. Exciting. Okay, let's go include related families. So let's get that. Get a little public order going on, because public order is not great. We're currently losing 7 a turn. So we need to destroy this army and march on to Grashnak's lair as quickly as possible. I don't think we can... hang on, just double check. We can't chase the army up? No, we can't chase the army up. Okay, so we just need to just recruit some Slayers. I want to get some Dwarf Warriors as well, and some Quarrelers. That's important. We definitely need some Quarrelers. We've also got the Chaos... not Chaos. Vampires to worry about down here. And we're going to have a look at our campaign objectives. We always go for the short campaign objectives, because that usually takes around 50 to 60 episodes, and I think that's fine. I think the long campaign victory conditions, you're probably looking at 100 episodes, and that's too long. No one would watch up to 100 episodes. Only the most hardcore would get that far. So we're just going to just do the short campaign victory conditions. I'm fine with that, to be honest. I feel like the short campaign, it gives you a nice sense of sort of completion, getting to that short campaign victory condition. You get the achievements and all that kind of stuff. I feel like the long campaign condition, they become a bit of a drag. It feels a bit like work at that point, in my opinion.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got some Slayers. Excellent, so let's move up. Public order here is continuing to drop, but what we can do is get the clan barracks. That's going to let us get some Quarrelers, eventually anyway. But first, I'm going to get a couple of units of Dwarf Warriors. That's going to give us 4 Dwarf Warriors, 4 Slayers, and a couple of missile units. I think that's going to be fine. We can probably chase up Olug, who's replaced Face Smasher next turn, and then maybe hit Gnashrak's lair. Do I maybe want to get... I mean, there are... Okay, I think what I'm going to... They are... No. Okay, let's get 3 units of Dwarves. I might disband some of them at some point, but I think getting that now is probably what I want to do. Yeah, okay, let's go with that. Ungrim is a recruiter, which is, I mean, upkeep reduction. I do have some mods installed that make some of the traits a little bit more interesting. So the recruiter trait just reduces recruitment, and I was going to say this is a bit rubbish, but actually the upkeep reduction is quite good. Frankly, I'm amazed that Manfred hasn't taken Eschen yet. I'm going to be honest, when I play Manfred, I've usually captured... By the way, first turn I capture Tempelhof, then this settlement over here, then Eschen, then Wardenhof. I'm usually done in 5 turns. Okay, you've wandered off, have you? Okay, well that's all right, I guess. If we go here, if we go there, he's wandered off. That's fine. We can do a little camp, get a little replenishment. We can hit Gnashrack's Lair next turn. Public order is still it's going down, but it's okay. It's okay. When can we recruit? Right, level 10. We can start getting the regiments of renowned. Excellent. That's all fine. Let's have a quick look at the victory conditions, because I didn't do that last time. I meant to. So short victory campaign. So we need to ensure that the total severity of grudges in the Great Book of Grudges is no greater than 9. So we need to keep those grudges down. We also need to build the Great Slayer Shrine of Kadrin. We need to destroy Norska, Wintertooth, and Clan Moulder, which is interesting because that means we're sort of going to be heading north rather than south. Fair enough. We need to control 5, so we need to control Peak Pass, the Northern World's Edge Mountains, Zufbar, Rib Peaks, the Northern Grey Mountains, which is all the way over there, Giant Home, which is all the way over there, and the Southern Grey Mountains, which is down there. So we kind of... It's almost like relegating us to the north of the map. So we basically want to catch everything sort of north of what are these mountains called? They're the Black Mountains? Everything sort of north of there is what we need to grab. And we also need to maintain 7 units of... Well, I mean, we've already got 5, so that's not going to be a problem. And 60 units in total, which is interesting because it doesn't have the capture 8 capitals requirement. So it's a bit more of a focused campaign, which I kind of like. So I'm okay with that. So let's end the turn again, and we'll be heading towards Gnashrack's Lair. Hopefully, those orcs will just bugger off and leave me alone. Fingers crossed. Okay, well the Red Eye have had their turn and not moved, so Gnashrack's Lair is definitely mine for taking next turn. So that's good. So we've got to include related families, so public order +1, that's very useful. I quite like militia training. Masterwork crossbows. That would be quite nice. I think missile... Okay, let's go levy missile warriors. So dwarves with a penchant for picking the Urks off from afar will form Thunderer or Quarreler units. So we'll get that, and then we can get something a little... get some bonus to their damage, and we can actually get some Quarrelers. Garim, you've got a skill point. We're going to pop that in Rune of Hearth and Home, I think. And that's going to let us start getting some of these abilities here. We're definitely going to use you in combat. I didn't actually click it then. There we go. Invoking the Rune of Hearth and Home stirs a dwarf's pride in his hold, clan, and ancestors.
Onward. My vows will be satisfied with this.
Good. Glad to hear it, Ungrim.
Drink them.
That's a fairly easy garrison to kill, so we'll just do that. A little bit of money there, that's fine. We're just going to occupy. So we've got a sapper, enemy siege holdout time. And Peak Pass is now under our control, and we completed that grudge, so we've got 1,000 monies and 30 oath gold. And Ungrim is a confident attacker, which is good to see. So that's fine. And Orcsbane as well. Greenskins, like all slimy fungus, must be wiped from the boot whenever trodden upon. So campaign movement. So these are all up. This is quite nice, because normally when you get Orcsbane, it's like +5 leadership when fight is crap, pointless. This though makes it a bit more like, ooh, that's kind of nice. I mean, hit points is nice, campaign movement range excellent. It doesn't feel too strong. It feels about right actually, because I'm quite... And Executioner. Sounds all pretty good. I'm happy with that. Got a whole bunch of stuff, and he's also ranked up. So we're going to get... Now, obviously the victory conditions are focused very much on the north. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get Ruinous Rival. I'm not afraid of you. My beloved ancestors are older and wiser than your dark, uncaring deities. That is probably not true, but fair enough. So that's going to give us weapon strength plus 15% when fighting against Chaos and Norska. So that sounds pretty good. Then we can get Doomseeker's next rank up. And do we have... We don't have any items as of yet. So what I'm going to do is we got some Oath Gold. So we can actually make something. So what do I fancy here? So, okay, we can get any of the ones that don't... Obviously, we don't have any trade goods at the moment, so it's going to be one of the sort of low-level items. Armor piercing and bonus verse infantry. Ungrim... I mean, that's probably who we want to give it to, isn't it? Ungrim, you got 71 attack, 430 weapon strength. I mean, you do take enemy lords apart pretty quickly. I will give that to you. So maybe just weapon strength? I mean, 12% weapon strength is quite nice. You know, I mean, does he really... I don't think he needs the armor piercing. That's the only thing. And bonus versus infantry. I don't know whether he's a dueler. He doesn't seem to kill many infantry in battle. That's the only thing I'm thinking. He's definitely more a lord killer. So I'm thinking go maybe Ranger's Hammer. So he's already got expert charge defense, so I think Ranger's Hammer. So we're gonna forge that. Just knock one of those out. Excellent. Thank you very much. This hammer will add strength and zeal to the weapon arm of any dwarf wielding it. Sounds good to me. So I'll pop that over there, and that should give him some more weapon strength. That's all looking pretty good so far. So we are running out of time, but I think what we're going to be doing, my plan is, if we can head north, grab Khazid Urk-Uluz and Karak, then we head south. Because if we can capture Karak, then we've got the Kislevites to our west. Now that's fairly secure. We a little bit of worry about chaos coming from the north, but ultimately they'll have to come through Kislev first, so we're fairly safe there. Kadrin is already fairly defensive anyway, and if we can sort of head south, then the only pass is this one here, leading through the mountains. So if we can hold Mount Gumbad, then we've got a fairly nice sort of defensive area to hold, and then we can sort of reassess and decide where we're going next. But I think that's my plan so far. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.